This week is the 42nd anniversary of the famous equity law, Title IX. Stay tuned for the story of what happens when bad things happen to good laws, coming up next on The Factual Feminist. Title IX was signed into law by President Richard Nixon on June 23, 1972. In 37 momentous words, it outlawed gender discrimination in all publicly supported educational programs. Now, before its passage, many of the nation's leading universities didn't accept women. Law schools, medical schools, they often used quotas to limit female enrollment. As for sports, female student athletes were rare and received precious little support from college athletic programs. The logic behind Title IX is the same as that behind all great civil rights legislation. In our democracy, the government may not play favorites among races or religions or between the sexes. We're all equal before the law, including in public universities and colleges. Well, today, there are many formidable female athletes, and the progress of women's sports should be celebrated. But something went wrong in the law's implementation. Because of pressure from women's groups like the National Women's Law Center and the Women's Sports Foundation, Title IX evolved into a rigid quota regime that dictates equal participation in sports by both sexes, regardless of interest. Now, women's groups will deny that Title IX requires quotas, but it does. Schools are cutting back on male teams and creating new women's teams, not because of demand, but because they are afraid of a federal investigation. The goal in college athletics is called proportional representation. What that means is that if a school has 60% females, then it should have 60% female athletes. I mean, look what happened at Howard University in Washington, D.C. Howard's student body is 67% female, but women are only 44% of its athletes. So in 2007, the Women's Sports Foundation, this powerful Title IX advocacy group, gave Howard the grade F because of its 23% proportionality gap. Howard has already, at that time, had cut men's baseball, wrestling, and added women's bowling. But that just didn't narrow the gap. Unless it cuts about half of its current male athletes, it's going to remain under a Title IX cloud and legally vulnerable. Now, Howard's wrestling coach, Wade Hughes, summed up the problem this way, quote, "The impact of Title IX's proportionality standard has been disastrous because far more males than females are seeking to take part in athletics." No, say the Title IX advocates, women are every bit as committed to sports as men, and they have persuaded courts that if there are fewer women than men on college varsity teams, the only explanation is discrimination. The Factual Feminist is concerned because the evidence that women, taken as a group, are less interested in competitive sports than men is overwhelming. I mean, to give just one example. In 2012, a group of psychologists carefully analyzed men and women's propensity for competitive sports by studying, for example, who plays intramural sports. These are recreational games that college students can play just for the love of the game. They're finding only 1 in 4, about 26% of intramural participants are women. They also studied recreational activity in 41 public parks in 4 different states. Now, lots of women were exercising, but among those playing competitive team sports, only 10% were women. I am aware of no serious research that finds similar levels of interest between men and women in competitive sports. I mean, let's be honest. There is a fallacy in the proportionality requirement. Title IX was meant to be an equal opportunity law, not a rigid quota system. It was meant to open doors for aspiring female athletes. But because of the relentless pressure from activist groups, it ended up slamming doors to keep men out, and athletic directors have to move heaven and earth to get enough women on their teams. Meanwhile, Title IX quotas have all but decimated men's wrestling, swimming, gymnastics, diving. Now, these sports and others are going extinct across the college campus for men. As one wrestling official put it, our sport survived the fall of Rome only to be conquered by Title IX. I'm going to end by asking a direct question to the Women's Sports Foundation. Your group gave Howard University an F because of its sports profile doesn't match its enrollments. They're 33% men, 67% women at Howard, yet women are only 44% of its teams. Well, nationally, women earn 58% of bachelor's degrees. Why doesn't the diminishing number of men on the college campus create a Title IX concern? The Factual Feminist gives the Women's Sports Foundation an F for basic fairness and common sense. Well, let me know what you think of the current state of Title IX. I'm especially interested in suggestions on how to restore it to its original democratic goals. And if you found this video worthwhile, please subscribe to the series and follow me on Twitter. And remember, check your facts, not your privilege.